What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Access Football Season 2. We didn't really have a good first year, so we're going to go through here, take a look at where we are, jump out to 2 wins real quick. Looks like we have 2 players injured. Both of them are defensive linemen, nothing too distant, so that's not that bad. Moving forward, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. 3-4, but the injuries have cleared up. The team morale is starting to slip down, though, down to 43-39 as we just continue to rack up the losses. Still no big injuries, but unless we really turn it around now, we're going to be out of playoff contention 3-9, and you can see the morale just tanks putting together all these losses. 4-10, 4-11. Obviously, 5-11 did not reach the playoffs. Go through here, and it looks like the Kansas City Wranglers are going to be the Access Bowl champions. We've got an offensive lineman and 2 defensive linemen retiring. We don't have any coaches retiring. So, take a look at where we are here with a 12-20 record for the last 2 years. Not very good. I think the first thing we need to do is address kind of this team morale. We do have, the money to do it, so let's go through and not go crazy, but let's at least try to get some things taken care of. As you can see, there's a lot of options here. We'll go with kind of the medium spa, and then we'll kind of upgrade what we have in terms of the trainer's room, go over and take a look at the training, upgrade the weight room, and really, as far as the practice fields are concerned, we'll grab them as well, but not be concerned about the transportation and the fans, because who's going to come and watch this team? Now, quarterbacks, we've got a discussion. John Matthews is the younger quarterback, C+. Ira Weaver is the older quarterback, who I know, based on the timing of this game, is really based on Joe Flacco. I don't really see a need to extend where we are. So running backs, we've got a B and a C. So we kind of have people that can fill the role of Peter Hill and Clayton McKinney. So again, I don't really feel like those are people we need. Now, receiving core, Ike Bennett, probably somebody we need to hold on to because, again, we need to prioritize these A receivers. Daryl Holland, probably not so much because we have some players that can fill that role. Now, tight ends, I don't want to get rid of everyone here. Let's try to pick the least expensive option that we have, which is probably going to be Jarvis Greenwood. And then when you look over at the line, again, we just kind of have stopgap players here that, maybe they can fill in admirably. I do like the Carl Cross is the younger of the two. So try to put an emphasis on younger players. Doesn't seem like he wants a lot comparatively. Benny Hernandez would be one of our key defensive linemen, but he also is, 30 years old. So that's kind of the cutoff point for me. Linebackers, Theodore Caprillion and Derek Ruiz. Guillermo Hart, a defensive back. Again, just players I feel like we can get replacements. Now, Wayne Carson, we need to keep punters and kickers. Good punters and kickers are a premium. We are going to release, though, a ton of players and be left with only one quarterback. So that's going to be something we have to address if we can immediately in free agency. Looks like we really don't have the best options here either. This is kind of the trash heap, if you will. You can see Clayton McKinney here was actually the halfback we let go of. So that's one of the challenges with these games where things are fictional. You never really understand, or unless you're writing it down, who is who. You signing a player you just released or not. A lot of times, though, they won't just re-sign with you. Now, Stuart Spencer out here, an A- offensive lineman, 28 years old. Looks like he's got some competing offers with Cincinnati and Cleveland. We'll try to up the annual amount, and we can get him. So good. That's a good A+ on the offensive line. We really don't know where the problems are. We'll probably spectate a game in a season or two and try to look at what's happening. As far as defensive back speed-wise, I always try to go through and see if there's a fast player we can build upon, but to be honest, a lot of those players were just released from teams for a reason. And even though we have a lot of spots to fill, I wouldn't say I'm really in a rush to get one of these quarterbacks. I do like some of the peripherals of these players, especially when you look at the running backs, but knowing that our running back is the best option out here and we just released him, it's really kind of hard to pull the trigger on these. As far as receivers are concerned, pretty much in the same boat. So let's go ahead, head out to the draft. We're in a unique position where we pretty much need everything and anyone. So I think we really can go best available here. So outside of your punters and kickers, it looks like Braden Nielsen is going to be the best lineman available. So we'll go ahead and take him. I don't believe that a quarterback that we need is going to be here. We do have kind of B speed. You take a look at the receivers and the tight ends. I think we're going to have to go back to best player available, kind of looking at what was there. Matthias Birch, George Gase. So we definitely can get some B- or B players. Kind of go back and forth and take a look at. I put a premium on speed, probably because I'm a Madden gamer, but sometimes you have to just get who's there as opposed to analyzing things to a fault. I don't think any of these players in, the third and fourth round are going to be the starters just yet, but it doesn't mean that we don't need to get the best player available. I like that Zane has B speed. Might have to come back and see if he's available and just get the best player we have right now, which is probably going to be Gary Jackson. And then we'll go back and see if he's available here. Go back through. Edgar Smith has B speed. Champ Erickson, though, has a great football name. So do you go with the name or do you go with the speed? I think we will go with the name. It's only B to B minus. So we'll go with Champ Erickson instead. So see if that comes back to haunt us at some point. But I do like to keep an eye on those things and go forward. Sometimes it also pays to go back over here and see, C plus to C. So it's not like there's anything jumping out. So I think at this point it's just kind of getting the players that we feel like can progress the most. So just trying to go through here with quarterbacks. Anybody has any throw power? Throw power is a B, but everything else is a D or an F outside of discipline. But we can give it a shot. I mean, maybe you can. Again, third stringer. I think we're going to have to be in a position to pick someone else up. Zane Thiebel has the B plus speed that we saw before, so we'll go ahead and pick him up. And then the final pick of our draft. And I will say one thing this game has taught me, Ernest Crichton has a B speed for a tight end, so you don't have to sign all these players if you don't want to, but it's, just kind of the process of going through. So now at least we do have our backup, well, I don't want to say our backup quarterback, but at least we do have a little bit more depth. We filled in our roster positions. I will say that between these two, like I said, you don't have to sign everyone, and the fact that Gary wants significantly more than Zane does, let's see if he'll take less. And he does. So, okay, very good. So that actually interestingly worked out. He wanted far more than he should have. So here's another option. This was our first player. Let's see if we can get him a little longer. And then Kate Hambrick, again, these lower kind of just fill-in defensive backs are there for the taking. So now we have to address the offseason and where we are quarterback-wise and where we're going to get a quarterback from. So we've got about 6 positions that need to be full. So let's take a look here. We do have running back out here, 30 years old, that's A-rated. Looks like our quarterback or our halfback got picked up from before. You've got an A-plus wide receiver out here as well. Tight end is kind of slim pickings. Denzel Dennis on the offensive line is an A. 28 years old, 307 pounds. And then you've got an A defensive back. So a lot of times, as I've mentioned before, you'll have these players fill out more because teams just drafted replacements. Let's start with Denzel Dennis and see if we can't get shored up on the defensive line a little bit. And you can see everyone now is not going over to the practice squad. Let's actually do something that I always like to do and see if we can get it accomplished, which is trade for a little bit of help in the defensive back area. So who else to do that than myself? And this is also going to allow us to get rid of some of the players that we maybe have that crossing of the guard with. So we have some linebackers here that can be kind of addressed. I think Justice Ditka is who we drafted last year. And then let's go through and see what their team needs are and see if we can't take care of that as well. So we'll give them back a defensive back. Looks like Domingo is 30 years old. And then that should, well, in theory, if they needed a linebacker, there's a linebacker and a defensive back. Let's see if we can throw in a draft pick for it and see if that will work. Okay, so we'll lose a draft pick. No big deal. I don't think we were going to get a B-plus defensive back with the second-round overall pick. And that gets me back on my home team. So now we've still got the better part of 5 spots to fill. got to address quarterback because I just don't think that Ira Weaver is going to be the starter. He might be the career backup. Running back, I'm okay with. It's difficult knowing that there's A-plus rated players out there. We just re-signed Greenwood. We just got Denzel Dennis out of free agency. Make sure that our depth chart was correct there, which it looks like it was. And then linebackers are always kind of confusing. So I'll be the starting safety, which is fine. All right, let's take a look at Muhammad Curry. He's got 2 existing offers, one's 5 years. Merrick Castro was the running back here, 30 years old, 2 competing offers. Let's see if we can do 4 years. Okay, so that'll be a complete stopgap. Got to focus on getting a decent running back, but he can kind of carry the team for the short term. Taking a look at the linebackers, anybody with speed out here? Not really. Try to get Elijah Wall here. He went to Cleveland. Would kind of stop the player I just traded off for me. Kind of get a lower ball player there. Gus Pagano, no relation to Chuck, I imagine. So, okay, Muhammad Curry. Keep coming back to it. We're going to offer him, let's do 3 years, a little bit more money, get him, and then, 3 more positions to fill, or players really. Riley Roach is an A defensive back. He's got offers, but we can get him. Then I just keep coming back to this receiving core. Conrad Richardson, I think we got to try. Sign with Cincinnati. Okay, so Cincinnati and Baltimore clearly disliking each other. There's the second best option we can get. And then just for depth-wise, let's take a look and see. And pick up another tight end here. Really have one more spot to get a full roster, but we really don't need anybody. So we would almost be like, who stands out to us? I guess it's going to be Gus, right? I mean, A-plus offensive lineman. See if we can give him what he wants. Okay, there we go. So we actually built better through free agency than we did the actual draft. So I think Muhammad Curry is going to be the starter. We have a new halfback and wide receiver combination. So basically a complete restart from where we were. Hopefully morale can take care of itself, win some football games, and get that 12-20 out of here. I do want to show you that as far as keeping track, it does an incredible job here at going through team records, which is going to be fun as we change quarterbacks to see game and season records kind of progress through. But I guess the next season should hopefully be short-term the best season we have. I appreciate you guys watching this, and I will be back in a week with more commentary.